increasing opportunity for innovation and disruptive models in the financial services sector offer technology solutions providers a huge platform to explore. Boye Ademola, a partner and head fintech at KPMG Nigeria, joins us now to discuss interesting developments with respect to fintech disruption in Nigeria. Boye, thanks so much for coming in today.
Thanks.
I do get the sense that payment has been a big area where we've seen a lot of innovation and disruptive technology come into play in Nigeria. But would you say that wave is still on, or what's the next wave in terms of disruptive technology with respect to financial services?
All right, thanks. I think the payments are still, we're going to see another round of payments that helps to address the financial inclusion issue and helps with the opportunities. I think payments are still important. We're going to see more innovation on payments, things like omni-channel. This taking payments, more innovative solutions to enrich customer experience and also to broaden the reach into the population. So payments will be really important. But the other thing that we're going to see is lending. We expect that a lot of the fintechs are looking to support digital lending. We're going to see fintechs focused on insurance, insurtech. We think that we'll begin to see blockchain, particularly because Nigeria is the #1 remittance destination in Africa. So we're doing $21 billion in remittances every year. Basically, there are transaction costs with this and efficiency challenges, and the fintechs are looking at that from an innovative perspective and looking at how can we make this more efficient, how can we bring down the transaction cost, and frankly cause some disruption there. So we think with blockchain we're going to see some changes in the way that remittances work, and not only blockchains. So there are a few of these streams that we think in the next wave of the life of the fintechs, we're going to see a lot more activity.
Would you say the focus of some of this disruptive technology is for the bottom of the pyramid, or do you think it's really broad-based in terms of the consumer market that this is likely to capture?
I think it's retail, because if you look at the opportunity there. 150 million naira mobile phones, 150 million mobile phones in Nigeria, and we have less than 50 million people that are registered, from BVN data. Now these are formal people, formally banked. And so you'll see there's a gap, and I think that gap is the focus. That gap is a retail play. And we're going to see the fintechs, we believe we're going to see the fintechs come up with solutions and products that attack that market. So a lot of it is retail. A lot of it will help, those that today are not financially included. A lot of it, you were talking about agriculture. So you will see that payments will enable those sort of things. The reach, the velocity of transactions, and also even if you're looking at investments, going into, areas, rural areas that traditionally was very difficult. So we think that, going forward, we're going to see these changes enabled by the fintechs.
Do you get the sense that regulation is perhaps the major stumbling block that could stop the proliferation of some of these things? At the end of the day, I think the central bank, for instance, will probably be involved in regulating payment systems.
I think it's a very good point. The regulation, if you look at what we've done up until date, there's been some regulation. The payment systems vision and initiative, the cashless initiatives of the central bank, but there is more work to be done. And as we've seen in other climes, one of the things we've done is we've done a comparative study of Nigeria with other fintech hubs, UK, the US, Ireland, Israel, Australia, and looking at how regulation is evolving. And one of the things that is clear is that we need to look at our regulation from a fintech perspective in a way that enables this particular sector. The fintechs over the last 2 years, from publicly available data, in Nigeria alone attracted investments of over $200 million. And that speaks to the potential of, you know, what is to come if indeed the regulation is right and enables the sector.
The reason I make that point is because looking at what's happening in East Africa, many have suggested that what we've seen in terms of the growth of mobile money has been telco-led, and the regulations here are not allowing that to happen as well, because the telcos have a huge base of potential customers that they can exploit, but regulation needs to allow them to exploit that.
I think it's all a question of the model. It's all a question of the model, and there are different models. The Kenya model, you know, the M-Pesa model, Safaricom is gone global and so on and so forth. But the fintech proposition is bigger. The fintech proposition, for instance, you know, speaks to, if you look at how many Nigerians today are insured, and the fintechs bring an opportunity and a proposition to say, look, we can deepen the reach.
Right.
You know, if you look at remittances, we have a huge diaspora population. The fintechs bring a proposition that we can do this more efficiently, bring down the costs, you know. So if you look at the fintech proposition, it's bigger than, you know, just the telco-led model or the bank-led model. And I think that there is a convergence. So even though we haven't gone the Kenya, you know, route, there's clearly a convergence. If you look at our markets, the telcos and the fintechs. For instance, if you look at the USSD that, you know, recently started, I think just this year, the velocity of transactions, USSD type transactions, and the reach, you know, the fact that you don't have to have a smartphone to do USSD, you can even open bank accounts.
I just made the point because I just get the sense that given the number of customers telcos have, they potentially can become digital financial companies. But we'll see what happens. Thank you so much for coming in today. Boye Ademola, partner and head fintech at KPMG Nigeria.